Okay, Donovan, just open the show.
Open the show.
All right.
We're still recording. Jonathan, you are recording.
Yes, I'm recording right now.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Donovan,
Okay.
you may proceed.
What to say? All right. Hello, everyone. No.
No, that's good. Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
All right, here we go.
Kane, root him on.
All right. Kane, can I get some? A little
You
bit
can
more?
try saying like, "Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talk Wizard, the show after the show, where we talk to you about wizards."
Hosted by Chris Hardwick.
Yeah, I'll just say that.
Oh, that's where that joke came from.
Where do you think it came from?
No, I thought Kane was just saying that. Like,
What did you think the joke talking wizard came from?
Star Wars.
Well, hey everybody. We're recording Talking Wizard 1 year later. We got everyone here, the whole team. Right next to me, I have...
You have Kane. Your DM. He's patting me. Your Dorito-covered man.
I guess that kind of works.
Sorry, I can do that. Take two?
Take two.
Your DM. Your digestible manogram.
Why is it digestible?
Because you eat it?
Okay, we also have here across the table from me.
are you pointing at me?
Yeah, well, yeah, I literally am pointing at you.
No, Donovan. This is me. That is my name. Yeah.
You did blow out the microphone a little bit. We're testing audio as we speak.
Yeah,
I'm Ryan Neitzey, and all the way coming from New Jersey, New York, on Skype, we have
Fuck off.
that, and there it is.
Jonathan.
It's fitting.
Sums up Jonathan quite well.
Yeah,
The fuck
it's-
off classic, a fuck off entrance.
Oof.
How's it going, fellas? It's been a year.
So
been
much has happened in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years. It's been a year, not
It's
2
been
years.
a year, not 2 years.
Yeah. Donovan got married.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hope you make him happy.
Jonathan's on Skype because he's coming from a penitentiary. He's on one of those
Again, fuck
iPads
off.
that just like move around.
It's crazy that we had to like smuggle in the Wi-Fi. I didn't even know you could like smuggle in Wi-Fi.
Well, he's on good behavior, I guess.
Yeah.
Kane, I mean, you, what did you do in the past year? Remember that great improv from the show?
Yeah, I've lost that. I've actively been destroying all of my improv cells by huffing glue. That's my new thing. I huff glue.
Yes, and
No, I don't know.
is this too dry?
It's very
Do we
dry.
need more rambunctiousness?
It's a very dry open. Is that a thing? Cold
So
open. What's the
serious
opening?
lack of like foreplay.
No, it's been a while. We haven't recorded in a while.
A year.
It's been a year. We haven't recorded
It's been a while. Remember that song? It's been a while.
No, I don't. Who is that by? Is that by
don't know.
David Bowie? I don't know music.
I was gonna
have
say
do you
Dave
know-
Matthews Band.
I don't know.
I don't think that's right.
I don't know David.
Yeah, well, yeah, it has been a while.
Yeah.
Well,
In the past year, we've all gotten older, naturally.
well,
Yeah. What's
Some of us.
What's as far as because it's, I guess D&D podcast. What's your D&D consumption since we stopped recording Pretty Wizard?
I edited the episodes.
Okay. Yeah, that's a
as
lot.
far as I got.
Yeah, but you haven't like played any D&D or touched
No,
anything
I haven't touched. I believe I touched some dice in August for like 30 minutes,
Oh.
and then but it wasn't for D&D. It was just I needed to roll a 20. I needed to roll like a 6 or something. So for some reason.
Were you in like Vegas? Like what?
Yeah, I was in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Makes
I mean,
sense.
I
Wait, did you go to the roulette table?
I was playing craps or crabs, whatever
pronounce
the
it.
name of it's called, and I lost big.
Yeah. No, that game's rigged.
All games are rigged.
No, it's random. No, it's rigged.
Monopoly, rigged. Sorry, rigged. Scrabble,
Connect 4? More like Connect...
Q's cost too much. I'll say it. Donovan, what have you done the past year?
Yeah.
D&D wise.
D&D wise, Kane and I actually, spoiler alert for Kane, I guess. But no, Kane and I are actually in a campaign right now.
Are we? Which one?
As,
you're right.
as
Which one?
Well, Kane's in like 12, but I'm in 2. 1.
3. Oh shit, I'm in 3. Fuck.
Well-
4? Fuck. Sorry, continue.
No. 2 campaigns. One of them run by Brooks Gray, our fantastic guest.
Math the
Brash.
Brash.
He's DMing. It's his first time. He's killing it.
Fucking killing it hard.
Yeah, pretty long-term campaign. It's going to be like, by the time it ends, it'll be like Pretty Wizard length, I think.
We're currently at Pretty Wizard level. like in-game characters.
What do
Like,
you mean by
ended-
that? What do you mean?
In-game we ended in Pretty Wizard. We ended at I think level 12 or whatever. If I remember correctly. We are currently at level 12 and we've been working our way through it.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. And then the other one is DM'd by Adrian.
Who played
A potato.
a potato, one of the potatoes, one of the
Tate?
Crisp and Tate.
Chris the wizard, Chris the knight. It was like something.
One's a cleric, one's a wizard.
I can look that up. I have the everything in front of me.
Do you have the everything wiki?
Yeah, I got the everything wiki.
We have a wiki?
Yeah. Crisp the cleric.
Crisp the cleric, yes. They are DMing that, and they're doing. It's weird because we're playing ourselves.
Yeah, we're playing ourselves.
Then they assign D&D classes to us, so that's kind of bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
It gets depressing though because we're in a zombie apocalypse. Anyway, what else, Donovan?
No, that's it. That's all the
cool.
D&D I've been exposed to lately. Jonathan, how about
Johnny?
yourself?
D&D wise, I've done absolutely nothing since Pretty Wizard.
Okay, join the
Good.
club.
Good.
Join the club. I like how it's literally like as soon as Jonathan and I graduated, it just like got split in half.
Yeah,
Like
well-
you guys are now doing a million campaigns. Jonathan are like,
We freed
oh,
up our
man,
time.
man, I played Monopoly the other day and I rolled a d6. I guess I got Snake Eyes a bunch of times.
Damn. Yeah.
Let your company took all my houses. Oh, the railroads. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it has been a while of the show Pretty Wizard. Honestly, love the show. I think it was a solid show.
I like the show. There's stuff I hate now when I look back at it. I'm like, fuck, I fucked on my part. Because like, why did I do that? What a dumb joke. Why did I keep it going? That joke so long. I hate that joke.
We can
What a
go
bad
through
joke.
parts we love, parts we
Should
hate.
we start at the beginning and work our way back?
I mean, we can start. Let's just sum up our overall feelings
Oh,
of the
okay.
show, maybe.
Sorry.
Continue then.
Yeah. What was I talking about?
Donovan?
Yes, Donnie?
Love the show. Awesome show. Good to like learning experience. It was great. Just because like technical wise, setting stuff up, but also like character wise, like writing wise, really great.
Yeah.
Really helpful.
In terms of, what do you mean by writing wise or character wise? Do you mean like for.
Like, just like in general thinking about characters and like, because I mean, we're film students. Like that's been revealed. Still film student for me and Cade. Post student life for you two.
Yes.
But just in terms of like writing stories and stuff, like this was the first like long term, like it was like a TV show, you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah, fun fact about the show that I learned after I uploaded the final episode. The final episode of Pretty Wizard came out 2 years to the day of the premiere. Fun fact.
that is a fun fact.
Yeah, to the literal day.
I did not know that.
But we've recorded before that even with the Christmas special. being
Yeah,
the
I mean,
first
our
recording session.
the four of us interactions with the show are way longer.
3 years?
But literally, like from the episode 1
2.5.
to episode 52, that is exactly 2 years.
Wow.
And there's 52 weeks in a year.
With 50, thank you, Donovan, for your math.
That's why there's every other week, 2 years. That makes sense.
But also the fact that like there was, we never missed a week. We were always on top of it in terms of releasing on time.
That's all on you.
pretty much.
That's everything you're saying
Yep.
is all on you.
Yeah, I'm
rightfully so.
I'm saying
Patting
he's not
himself
the
on
best.
the
Yeah,
back
you're the
here.
best. No, honestly, pretty much what
I just
want to
jerk myself off. Is that okay to say?
I'll jerk you off too if you let us. We just want to keep just like get more room in that shaft.
Jonathan, how do you feel about Pretty Wizard overall?
Overall, I thought it was fun. I feel like Diamond said, I learned a lot learning character wise, but I don't know. I have mixed feelings looking back at it. I feel like I wish I could have done things better, like for my character wise. I feel like the character that I ended up playing in the end was completely different from what I started in the beginning, and I feel like that kind of sucks that I didn't start off the same way that I ended. But I mean, character development is a thing, but like I feel like even just the backbone of my character was a lot different than it was in the beginning than it is at the end.
Well, then let's extrapolate on that. Let's talk about our characters. Jonathan, how do you think that Absol Ashclaw changed from episode 1 to episode 52?
Well, I feel like he changed the most towards the end than he did in the beginning. Like in the beginning, he was kind of flat, and then there's a certain point where he starts to change a lot more rapidly than an overall just a slow change. I feel like in the beginning it's so far back. It's hard to remember like what he was like in the beginning because I don't really listen to the podcast. I haven't listened to it in a long time. So I should have gone back and listened to it. To be honest, I completely forgot to. But I feel like in the beginning he was more secluded and didn't want to talk, to people and didn't want to help out. And in the end, he was helped out the most, I feel like, by sacrificing himself.
Yeah, a sacrifice is probably the most thing the biggest thing you could give someone is sacrificing your own life for another person. Donovan, Kane, you had a question?
I was just gonna argue. I'd say like, never mind. Joke's done now. It's the space between the joke and now what you just said is like, I'd say a crisp $5 bill is a bigger. Anyway,
Are you saying I should cut this out?
yep.
So we're leaving it in, right?
Donovan, how did you feel Leaf changed from episode 1 to episode 52?
All right. Well, Leaf changed quite a bit, I think, as far as I could tell, at least. Like, he started off, as kind of like the fool, the idiot kind of role. Like, that was a lot of Leaf's character there. I went in with like a real simple backstory, like just coming in, but then he matured a lot, I think, and he got smarter and learned a lot, and I like the whole angle we took with like the sickness and him aging and everything. That was really sweet.
It definitely added a huge character to
Yeah, there were a lot of layers involved after that point. So
I do want to give props to Kane as the DM. Is that of course, like as our jobs to play the characters that we had, Marco, Leaf, Absol, but like for you, Kane, for adding in the whole dynamic with Leaf of like the sickness and everything. I'm not sure if you guys worked that out together or whatever, but having this whole new dynamic of Leaf having this sickness where he's aging rapidly with pretty much every spell, every transformation he would have. And then with Absol, adding some situation for Absol, the whole sister dynamic that he had, whereas of course, Jonathan, you had to come in with Absol, if I'm correct, that your sister was missing, and it was then Kane's job, I guess.
Yeah, she was. The backstory was basically that she was taken from our family as a young kid,
which was a great opportunity for Kane. I want to applaud him for that, for then taking that and just running this whole thing of and she works for this guy, but then also she's
Out for herself.
Yeah, she's very much out for herself, which is very much the Ashclaw way. But then, which is very interesting because it's Absol felt that his whole thing is that he wanted to be with his sister, and then as soon as she's free from the bomb in her head, she's just like, fuck you, pretty much, and then go do her own thing. And then Absol was like, okay, well, fuck you then. Which I just want to applaud you for adding those character elements into
thanks.
people.
I would have done something for Marco, but you were just doing your own thing, and by the time these elements came into mind, which was I don't know, fucking 12 recordings in or something. No, well, earlier than that. But it was just he gave me that ambiguous thing, his sister disappeared. Immediately knew she's showing up later.
Yeah. Easy.
And then with Leaf, it was just you had one thing with your druidic focus. You just kind of find that mysteriously, and that's how you ended up here. So I'm let's see where this goes. And maybe it's bad for you. And then most of your backstory that you gave me from Marco, I believe, was just your dad, which we did. Oh wait, we did work that in. Never mind.
he never came up.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. No, we worked that in. So you all gave me this weird, mysterious aspect of your backgrounds, and I was I'll try to work all of these in somehow. And then and that's where they went.
Yeah, I mean, just beautiful end of that sentence there. But no, just to continue to applaud Cade. Everything that happened to Leaf when he was on Earth, all those characters and the story, obviously, that you came up with that. I didn't have any of those characters written out that were in my backstory. You just kind of learned who Leaf was and everything throughout the previous recordings, and came up with it. It worked really well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much you added into Marco's story besides the whole dad thing. That was sort of
that was. I mean, you played your dad, so
yeah, but also including that was sort of behind the scenes of we got this whole episode edited.
Yeah.
Christmas is coming up, but let's just release it, and then you had to figure out a way to work it into everything, which was, I don't know how much of a challenge that was for that, but
it was really easy.
Yeah, I figured.
I just had to kind of railroad a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's the nature of that's sadly the nature of the beast of doing a D&D podcast is that it's a show. It has to come to an end. It has to do a thing.
There's aspects of D&D where it's just you can do whatever you want. Anything. Let's shop for an hour and a half. I'm so you have to just slap your players in the right direction. But looking back, I would say I'm a better DM now than I was then. I'll say it. But I don't know. You get better every time you do it. So a year difference makes a different year.
You know, when Kane starts his sentences, and like the beginning and middle of Kane's sentences are always like really profound and like good, and then like the end, it's like he really fumbles the ball. Like he's running down to the end zone. He's at like the 90-yard line, the 95. Which is the 90th
The 95.
line.
The 95.
You know the 95-yard line?
Yeah.
You know it's a 200-yard.
Yeah.
He's just like, and then he just falls. He just like trips over his shoelaces. He's Zion Williams.
Well, I think it's a deep fear. Let's talk about Kane real quick. I think it's a deep fear of me showing my true strength and you guys being intimidated and losing all my friends. But I don't want that to happen, so I make myself look like a fool, just like Leaf did.
Because he was truly the most powerful.
Yeah.
Well, then let's talk about some of these good things, bad things. Good takeaways, bad takeaways, good things we liked in the podcast, bad things we didn't like. Bad things we didn't like? Does that work?
Bad things we did like.
Bad things we didn't. Good things. Just things we didn't like.
Yes. What do we start with, Kane? Bad or good?
Bad.
Or the gray. Let's talk about the gray.
The gray.
I felt the
What an arc.
trees. I felt the trees were good. Wait, that's like positive. Fuck.
I don't know. I mean, I think the ultimate, I'm talking about bad now. I think the collective.
That's good. We'll end optimistically.
Yeah. The whole podcast as a whole, as a show. I mean, it became taxing sometimes for all of us as human beings to do this every week or every other week, and like record and be into it. And then sometimes some infighting in game could potentially feel like it would weird to leave. It would leave a weird energy in the room amongst us. So it was like, ugh, all right, see you next week.
If I can go off of that, it's not only like the infighting in the game spreading to real life.
Yeah.
I feel like if there was a tension outside of life, that would spread into the game.
Yeah. So it was fuck. But I don't know. We did pretty good.
Did you just whisper Pretty Wizard?
No.
You really want to end the show?
Also, that's the one thing I hated. We didn't end the show with Pretty Wizard somehow. But no, I did like how we ended it though.
Yeah, I will say
I
that
cried.
I did tear up a couple times during the show. I feel like some negatives for me was that I mean, I really like the show. I do feel like that there was like some behind the scenes stuff that were just issues that were just things that, whether it be taxing, things that we didn't do, that were whatever, what have you. But just like behind the scenes issues of the show just sort of like, I don't know, crumpled a little bit.
Yeah, but we made it through. I think it just goes to show how well we are at perseverance.
Again,
We are quite good at perseverance.
Thank you. We're very good at persevering.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Jonathan, any negatives of the show for you?
So we were first recording. I felt like the audio was fine, but now, like looking back at it and listening to it, I feel like we could have done more to make it sound better.
Especially in the beginning.
Yeah, just the first episode from first part to second part, it's like, oh.
Like knowing what I know now and what I've bought for myself. I don't know. You guys probably can tell my mic sounds different from theirs because I bought podcast stuff for me and my brother to start recording stuff. But what I have now is I feel like is 20 times better than what we were using, and I wish we would have seen that first and gone that direction instead of the direction we went.
Yeah, even now in this room we're recording Talking Wizard, we changed the setup a bit into new mics, everyone has headphones on, which no one used to have headphones on.
We don't have the wall.
We don't have wall sound blanket, so it probably does sound more echoey with these really, I think, better microphones, but
Who knows?
a year, man, am I right? It makes a difference.
Donovan?
I can't think of a major or a specific bad moment or anything like that. You know, I think I'm a lot like Leaf, where he rarely got mad. He's just kind of laid back. So no, I mean I can't think of any bad experiences. I would think of the entire show as a big learning experience though, like I said, with the hardware stuff and then the creative stuff and everything. So
yeah, I mean, the one thing looking back I regret was Potato.
Why? What Potato's one of my favorite characters.
I like her. I hate how I personally handled introducing, and every time I referred to Potato, it felt like, oh, I'm a piece of shit.
What do you mean?
Just, I don't know, being really negative and just mean towards Potato when she had no reason to be. Just me as just oh, the shitty shack of potatoes riding a dragon. I'm like, well, all right, come on, we get it. We all love Potato now, stop.
For me, that made her at the very, very much at the beginning, of course, when you were introduced Potato, it made her very endearing. There was just It's like, because then it's like, oh, she's just a shitty sack of potatoes or whatever. But then she's like this freaking badass, like lady of the forest that can just destroy anyone in hand-to-hand combat, pretty much. That's just like, she's a butterface.
Yeah. So
How
it's
dare
just,
you?
Yeah.
That's my wife.
That's the mother of my child.
I mean, looking back, always, if you always look back, you want to change shit. But like, if I could change, if I had to choose only one thing to change, I'd probably just change Potato.
Interesting.
And just make her just seem more, I don't know, or make me handle her less shitty. Sorry, Potato. Hello. Oh, hey, Potato. Hey, how are you? I'm good. How are you?
Sometimes I find Cade just doing that in like editing bays, just talking to himself. That Potato. I don't know.
So that's a great point. Is there any speaking of like the negative train that we're all on right now? I guess.
Choo choo.
A lot of fuel.
We're heading towards a school.
We're heading towards 5 people. We can change the tracks to changing the 2.
To 10 people.
Oh god. One of them's a dog. I really lost what I was trying to say here. Well, yeah. So that's a great point. What are some things in the show's plot? I guess we talked about sort of the behind the scenes issues that we had. What are some things in the show's plot that maybe you didn't like, or maybe would have changed different? For me personally, I don't know. I feel like, like Marco was obviously very emotional and very much moody, and that was like the basis of his character is that he very much plays things on his heart of his sleeve, the sleeve of his heart. He has aortas all over his place.
Yeah. In his cards too.
But like, I know for me is like, at least I had the struggle of like taking things from the outside of the world and putting it, having that bleed into the show. That happened to me probably all the time. And there was like instances of Marco getting angry that I was like not happy about. Instance number 1, it was like on the mountain scene, I think, where like I pretty much like just break kayfabe and yell at Jonathan, and just like yelled at Jonathan through Marco, but then we worked it into the show, so it was like fine, I guess. But there was an instant where I was just like I got mad at Jonathan through the show and just broke kayfabe and just pretty much yelled at him during it.
For people that don't know what kayfabe is, kayfabe means what?
Just like I broke
The fourth wall?
The fourth wall.
Okay, cool.
I guess.
Thank God. Infighting, as a DM, I hate it when you guys infight.
Yeah. Because that's like,
Because you're like, give us a second.
yeah, it's definitely like, personally, I don't necessarily like the infighting, but literally infighting became the show. Like it was the whole point of the show is that for me, it feels like that we're family. There's always going to be infighting, no matter what.
So at some points it was, I don't know if the infighting was the B story or the A story.
Oh, it's changed all over the place.
It would interchange for sure.
Donovan, do you have any ideas?
What are we talking about?
any like plot points or anything? If not, I can throw it back to Jonathan.
Anything I would change? I think that's what we were originally talking about here. I don't know. I don't think so. I haven't thought about this, but it just kind of popped into my head. When we ended up splitting up at the end and having or right before the end, like the solo episodes.
Yeah.
The solo bits.
Thanks for that one, guys.
I love the solo episodes though.
I had like stuff written out up until like, all right, the next thing after they do this whole like weird beach planet, they're going on a secret spy mission, and you girls like, never mind. I have to quickly write Jonathan's and like Leaf's backstories.
Because
like,
I did give you heads up that I was.
We knew you wanted to do it. I'm like, that's fine. We're gonna do some cool, weird, creative shit with you, 1-on-1.
Where we just have sex.
We just had sex. Let's fuck, marry, kill. All right, guys. I did it all. But yeah, no. So that was a curveball. So, sorry. What were we talking about?
Fuck, dude. I don't know. No, I think I was gonna say like, I wonder. Like it might have been cool to do something like that earlier too. But I'm just kind of saying that right now, like I haven't thought about it. So like I don't know if it actually would have been cool. But just something interesting like that. And then back to the infighting, I kind of liked it because it was like it made the show, I think, like more character driven than plot driven, if that makes any sense.
Okay. Yeah.
So like there's some really cool character moments in there. Like to this day, one of my favorite moments was the up-down argument at the mountain in that early episode.
Mm-hmm. That was one of the first like moments.
Yeah, no, it was the first of like that infighting little like arc kind of thing, where Marco like threw the shield down. It was like down or whatever you ended up saying, but I enjoyed that bit. So
Yeah.
The only thing plot-wise that I would change would be the flying snake sequence. Going back, I hated, like, literally after I did it, I hated myself for doing it. It was like, I'm like, this was the stupidest thing I could have done.
Wait, are you talking about
The message that the flying snake had.
Oh yeah.
Oh, like the second episode?
I was like, oh, this is gonna be so cool when we're doing a podcast. I can do like real live props. And then like Jonathan's like, I'm gonna keep this a secret. Like, I can't do props anymore. Got it. But yeah, no, that did end up starting the whole infighting. That's like what started everything ultimately.
Yeah.
So there's the B story.
Like literally, I guess that's true. Like literally, like that moment was like the whole, like, because we talked about it in the last Talking Wizard, I believe, that we recorded the show like 3 different times. Like we had like alternate universes of Pretty Wizard where different things happen. There was like some that were like, I don't know if infighting would have ever happened because there was some where like we really all got along.
Yeah.
If anything, there was sort of like a weird dynamic between Leaf and Absol, which there was at the beginning of the series. There was this weird dynamic between.
Oh, are you talking
Leaf
about the
and Absol.
caravan thing?
Yeah, the whole caravan thing.
Good times.
But that whole moment sets up Marco's character as pretty much like this dad-father figure thing. Later on in the show. And then my whole I have daddy issues. Marco is a guy with daddy issues.
Damn.
But yeah, okay. Well, what are some things that we liked? Plot points or anything that we liked? Jonathan, we can start with you if you want.
Well, we already talked about it, but the ending with Absol like sacrificing himself, I feel like that was a really good plot point, and I feel like earlier on we probably never would have got to it, but at a certain point I kind of realized that it had to happen. Like if we had ended the series halfway through, I feel like that never would have happened. But the way everything led into the final episode kind of worked its way to perfectly end like that for my character.
Yeah, it's weird that like such a happy, positive moment in the show is suicide.
Well, it's sacrifice.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Is he a Jesus figure? He didn't come back to life. Never mind. He's fine.
You're the Jesus figure then.
Dab. That's what I'm talking about.
Who am I?
You're like the Madonna or figure or something.
Yeah, okay.
The singer, not the not the.
Is there
virgin,
a different one?
Not the virgin.
What?
What's it?
Okay, I get it. What?
What are some plot points you got?
Fuck. I mean, all right. So my my newest memory is remembering, watching, listening. Hello, take 2. So my favorite plot point, I think, was the ending where I forgot what I named your ship when you walked off to.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh fuck, I'm so good at this.
Yeah, the Ashclaw.
Yeah, the Ashclaw. No, but I don't know. I like the whole every time Piff and Poots and Pan showed up. I always liked those 3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. There was really good ones, but they were all good. So they're all the same. So I can't think of one right now.
I like the fact that the show definitely started out as sort of like, we were kind of like promoting the show as sort of like a comedy sort of idea, and then literally like with all the infighting started, we were just like, okay, this is no really longer a comedy. We just really dove straight into like this like dramedy sort of like drama-esque like deviation from the show.
The assassination. Sorry.
The assassination.
The assassination on Jaug.
On Jaug. Yeah. When I killed that guy.
Yeah. I like that one. That was a good one.
I had such regrets.
Yeah.
I think like that also started. It was that me assassinating Jaug in conjunction. Jaug. My mistake, sir. In conjunction with the torture sequence.
There's a torture sequence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We took like a security guard person, put him to a house, and just sort of like kind of tortured him a little bit. And then like in that where he's like saying like I have a daughter and stuff. Mm-hmm. Obviously Marco not sure if it's true or lies, but Marco being Marco, he's gonna take that as truth. Those all things together were like, killing people is bad, guys. It's not a cool thing because then it came to the realization of Marco of like Marco was a person of daddy issues where his father left at a young age, but then his mom also dying, was that like he knows what it's like to be an orphan on the streets. So it's like I do not want to do that to others, and that started the whole train for Marco, like going this whole thing of like killing is bad, like Captain America, Spider-Man, sort of like we have this responsibility to do. Like we got to be good with it. We can't be like just murdering willy-nilly. And then of course when the what was it, 29, people that Absol killed?
That was 19.
19 people Absol killed?
19,
That was just like
yeah.
set Marco over the moon. Of just like, fuck
That was also the episode where Absol lost his arm. That was a big moment.
It was revenge.
Donovan?
Yeah, so some of my favorite moments, I like the little moments for whatever reason. Like there were a couple between, there were a couple between Leaf and Marco throughout the Good Boys. That's the thing I was trying to think of. Like there's the one on the Dragon Planet, I think, if I remember correctly, where there was some more infighting occurring, and then
Was this at the lake? Is that what you're describing?
No, I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was in the woods after we fought a dragon and I was a dinosaur or something like that. Anyway, what was happening was Absol wanted to go back to the ship to get more spells,
Yes.
and we wanted to carry on.
Yes.
And I just said, like, Leaf said the simple thing, like, it's his sister. Like,
Oh,
saying
yeah.
that, saying that, like,
That was a great
Absol,
moment.
Absol knows best or whatever. So, like, a little moment like that. Then there was another one.
Yeah, because Leaf is very much the family loyalty guy, where it's just like, look, it's his family. Like, let him do his thing.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to like keep everybody together at one point. But there was another little moment. It was pretty early on with Poots and the gang, where someone was covered in peanut butter. And
That was Piff and Jam. No, it was
Piff and Jam? Is
Piff
that what you
and Jam.
said?
No, it was Pan and Jif.
yeah, Pan and Jif. But yeah, someone was covered in peanut butter and they didn't have any weapons.
Jif.
And they were like, "Hey, we want someone else to be covered in peanut butter." And Leaf's like, "Yeah, that's me. That's my job."
You were like the king of the tiny moments.
Yeah. And
Like-
there was what it was just like in that moment. There was a part where he didn't have any weapons. I was like, "Where aren't you? Like, are you
Oh,
ready
yeah.
to fight or whatever?" And he was like, "Don't you trust your friends? Because we were the bait." And I was like, "Oh, good point." And then I didn't pull out my weapons.
Damn, I said that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, you were the DM, Kane.
Damn. I forget.
Yeah, like Leaf was like the master of like these like you were the loyal. If Leaf didn't, the character Leaf didn't exist. If you were any other permutation played any other character, the show wouldn't have been able to continue because Absol and Marco would have murdered each other.
Yeah, the infighting would have consumed.
It would have
guys.
consumed the entire show,
Yeah.
and we would have just murdered each other. You had to play. I don't know if necessarily referee, but you were definitely the glue.
You were our rock and our you were definitely our arcane rock in a hard spot. Is that the phrase?
Jonathan, anything?
Shout out to the Arcade Rock.
Man, what a fucking thing that was.
One thing I would change, one bad moment to go back to that I just thought of.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of moments
Since we
now.
were talking about, we were throwing it back, and I remembered.
Going
when-
down memory lane here.
Yeah, when Leaf first transformed, he was a lion in that dark room with Meh, Meh the Brash. And I didn't want to kill our guest, but I should have, because I jumped out and like tackled him as the lion or whatever. So I was on top, and I was allowed to like call him or whatever and attack, but I didn't. And then I just like looked like an idiot because he like tied me up in a rope or something, and
He like I think like hypnotic gazed you or something
yeah,
like
it's like,
that.
oh, this cool moment for Leaf. Now I'm tied up and I can't do anything.
That just sums up Leaf also. It's just like, going for this cool moment.
it's gone.
Undercut by silliness. I'm trying. I thought like sort of like thematically of like, I just not like necessarily like a moment or whatever. I just really like when we had the planet. I forget which planet it was. The planet where we woke up like had amnesia. Remember that planet?
Oh yeah, that was Terra.
Who's joining us today?
Oh fuck, sorry. Yeah, see, it happens unintentionally where I just slip into voices by accident. I think it was Terra. It was called or Terra 5 or something. It was something like that. It was for the rock Starbusters, where the Starbusters were, where the rock people were in
Terra Delta.
Terra Delta, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, where we woke up with amnesia. I just like recently I like was thinking about that planet for whatever reason. I was just like, thematically it sort of worked because like I don't know if you intended it, But like the idea of like we had guests on that like were always dropped in on the narrative and they had to figure it out. That was the whole concept of the planet, is that we had to literally drop in and figure everything out. And then like and then we introduced like people that already know it, like Herring that came in is like I know what's gonna happen. I just thought the whole thing was. Did Marco name it the red herring? I'm trying to think.
That goes back to the multiverse.
Does Marco name his ships after dead people? Is that what's happening?
Oh shit!
Is that the thing? I feel
yeah.
like, let me look that up.
I think in one of the multiverses that was unreleased.
During the first recording session when they got to this, before we found out we had terrible audio and had like swap back and forth, the initial like OG ship were like, because they had Herring, like when Herring like died or whatever, they're like, oh, this is really sad. Like, what should we name the ship? And then someone. I don't know if it was it Donovan that said it?
Yeah, I remember now. Donovan pitched the idea of the herring.
What if we call it the herring?
Red herring, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But then in my like classic awkwardness, I didn't want to say the line in the proper recording, like in the recording that was released. So I think someone else.
I think I pitched it then.
Yeah.
Because I was like, Donovan, go, and you're like, I'm not gonna say it. I was like, fuck, let's call it the red herring. Cool. Let's just get through it, guys.
Another classic moment.
A classic Donovan Leaf moment where it's like, go for the moment, buddy, and you're just like,
yes, it's fine.
Damn. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we might have to wrap this up. I don't know if you guys want to continue it after, because Jonathan has to get going.
Oh yeah, what time does he
Yeah, I
have to
gotta
go?
leave in like 5
He's got to
minutes.
get home soon. So I guess,
Shit, that was quick.
yeah, we'll just leave it off of Jonathan first. I'm not sure if we can wrap him up and then maybe wrap ourselves up after he's done, or talk
Wait,
for another
before we go to
7
our next
hours.
question,
What's up?
I just remembered another moment that I thought was good. It was literally right after I had killed 19 people and lost my arm. It was the beginning of Max's episode, which he was testicles, and we were walking through the forest, and I'm like upset because my arm is gone, and then like Max is like trying to introduce himself and not say his full name, and then like once he says our full name, like my character just like literally breaks and he goes like he just like automatically just like starts laughing because even though he like just killed 19 people and lost an arm, he still finds it hilarious at a dick joke. Like it's still like I thought that was hilarious to me.
I remember that moment too. I really like that one.
Mm-hmm. It was also just like kind of a crazy thing to do. Is just you lost your arm and then just sort of like snap and start laughing. It's like
I mean, everyone deals with grief in their own ways, right? Like I know today I went through
Marco knows about it.
a really dumb situation. Like, man, I just locked my keys in my car with the car running, and I just started laughing for no reason. I was trying to call for help, but like, it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, Jonathan, before you go, we'll wrap it up ourselves later. Or what are you beatboxing?
I thought you were in the beat so you could rap it.
Okay, yeah. No, keep it going. We'll do it. No, do it. Let's finish Jonathan.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's finish Jonathan off real quick, and then you can wrap it up.
Yeah.
Do you want me to like leave you guys alone for a minute? Or, like,
What? No, yeah, it's fine.
Jonathan, what are some last words that you feel like you want to say to the audience at large?
I don't have anything prepared for that.
Yeah,
question.
really putting you on the spot, buddy.
Yeah, really put me on the spot. I just hope people enjoyed it. I just really hope people don't think that what was the lady say, that we were bigots, racists, whatever that was. She thought we were. No, that was hilarious to me. But I really just hope people enjoyed the show and enjoyed our adventure and liked our character development. Even though most of the people watching were our friends, but people who weren't our friends who were listening to it, I hope they at least got some enjoyment out of it.
Well, then we'll say, like we did before during the show, we have to say goodbye to Jonathan because he's now going to die through Skype.
Jesus Christ.
Because as soon as we end the call, he's dead. I mean, that's
object permanence,
Pretty
not a
much.
thing.
Pretty much. So thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan. It's been a fun
Bye,
2.5 years.
Bye, Jonathan.
see you, pal.
Bye.
Bye.
And we're still recording.
Then there were 3.
And then there were 3. I'm trying to think of. There was a moment I had in the show that I really enjoyed. Well, I mean, you can't. For me personally, one of my favorite moments of all time was Marco and Taylor.
Yeah.
Just that whole relationship, pretty much for me, was glorious. I felt
Very improv-y.
Oh yeah, like
Well, I guess that's the nature, isn't it?
we talked about earlier about the fact that like you threw in a lot of things. I felt like I'm not sure if you and I felt like it wasn't necessarily like you were giving me things. Like with Absol, it was definitely like you were giving him things.
Oh yeah, but all 3 of you were different in how we do D&D role playing in the sense with like Jonathan, you have to like literally like strap him to a train and like push him down this rail. You are very like, you'll just yes and go with anything and like add your own stuff. And then Donovan's just like, yeah, sure, yeah. You're your yes and. Donovan's a yeah, sure.
Wow.
Which is very much more definitive. I
Yeah.
like leaving the, like, let's play into space. Donovan's like, yes.
That sums up Ryan and I in a way you'll never
On a
understand.
level.
That's great. That's a good point, honestly. It's like, I would yes and like, and there was like, I would definitely like, because like, I mean, those solo episodes, mine were way longer. It's probably because we were like just going back and forth overall. Which, by the way, that editing thing, that was a whole dynamic of the solo episodes. I don't know if I still have the photos of it, but like what I did to edit the solo episodes was insane.
Didn't you just like edit it?
Yeah, I just edited it. Just normal.
You edit it.
I took put all of those individual solo episodes recorded, put them all into one timeline, recorded them individually with some separation between the two.
Yeah.
And when I finished one segment, if let's say Leaf had like 6 segments, when I finished one segment, I would write up a synopsis of what happened in that segment. I did that for every single thing.
Jesus.
Then I had those synopsises written all out. Then I put it on a piece of paper, cut out the different segments, and then literally like on my kitchen table, like move the segments pieces of paper around and figure out like, oh, and also I had like the time of like how long each segment was. I was like, okay, this segment's this long, this segment's this long. Okay, that's an episode. And I did that for like every segment to get however many episodes it was, 5, to get the whole solo episode. So that like, because there was like, it became a puzzle because there was things of like that had to happen in Leaf's timeline before it happened in mine. Or like Absol, there was things that had to happen in Absol's timeline before Leaf. Because there was a point where like Leaf like saw Absol through his meditation crap. So it was like, so it was like, okay, Absol, we have to know that Absol's doing this beforehand. So that had to come first. And it was a whole thing.
Damn.
There was like so many elements of that. Because it was also like time was all over the place with there was no real like scale of time or anything on those solo, or really the solo episode.
Yeah, well, I think it worked out. You guys came back when you left and then came back. You were 3 levels different, right? So I think it was like, if you go by like what we were saying with like once a week you level up or whatever. So you spend like a week training to level up or some shit like that. So like, you could say 3 weeks, but at least 3 weeks, I'd say.
Do you have any idea what the end goal of the show was originally? When you pitched the idea of like a year later, a Nero will come down and be the big bad guy.
All right. So the whole
Do you remember from 3 years ago?
Well, when I created the Nero as like, you needed a big bad, but then like, how do you define what bad and what good is? I think it's just a matter of perspective.
Which literally was another theme in the entire show.
So it's all like two people see the same goal, but they have separate paths of getting there. So I think that was the ultimate way. And just also like from like what information you were told, what information you know, they could be separate things. Like reality versus what you've been told is like not true, or you've been told. What I'm saying is, both were right and both were wrong at the same time. So the idea that I don't think there was ever going to be a big like galactic warfare on Earth or whatnot. I never wanted that to happen. I always wanted you guys to end up on that ship and end up seeing his point of view and him being like, oh fuck, he's relatable.
You just had no idea how you were going to.
No idea how and like what would have happened up until then, but I knew I wanted you guys to end there, and then. That's just how I write stories, is like start, end, and then start filling in between.
Yeah. Donovan, do you feel like Leaf, Marco obviously was on Nero's side at the end there. Where do you think Leaf found, or where do you think the point became if he switched sides?
Well, Leaf murdered the shit out of Harold.
True.
So I think...
So somewhere before that.
Yes, a little bit before that, I think. Well, I don't remember, if I'm remembering this correctly, which, should be said might not be the case. But there was the point where we all kind of met up on Nero's ship with Nero, and Marco was on Nero's side. And Abs and I kind of had to choose. That was right after the solo episodes, like we got portaled there.
Yeah.
And there was like a little conversation, and we had to figure out what to do. And I think Leaf not wanting to fight Marco, or just have that fight, because I think we probably would have lost. was like, yeah, no, we'll be on your side. We'll see how it plays out. And I'm pretty sure he was making some sense. Like you said, it was relatable what he was saying, and then it was just a weird thing of like, has Harold like been lying? Is his view twisted? Everything you said, like, kind of, it played out. So I'm not sure what particular moments it was, just because it's been so long. When Leaf flipped sides, but I would imagine it had something to do with another character, like Marco or Absol picking a side or something with Potato.
I think I could pin it back down to when Marco gave Leaf this mini elm tree as being like, hey, we're still friends, right?
I was just about to talk about that. I was just about to talk about that. That was, I remember thinking in that moment, I still believe it now, is that was a moment where Marco was unsure. Marco felt that Absol was like long gone and did no longer care about this person. Leaf was someone that like he still had residual feelings for. Yeah. And he still was like, but he's still like heartbroken. Literally, he's heartbroken. Yeah. So he's like, where do you stand? I gave him the mini elm tree, and he's just sort of like, cool.
A metaphoric olive branch.
Yeah, literally an olive branch. And then he was like, yeah, sure. But then like that, the rest of that conversation, I remember thinking in the moment that like this is a test for Leaf, and what I mean by that was like it was like I'm giving him this olive branch, but then the conversation was just like Leaf wanting to learn about what was happening, and I was just like, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, and it was like, okay, and that's it. And Marco was like, I remember thinking at the time, like Marco was sort of thinking like, okay, maybe he doesn't care about me. He just cares about everything else. And sort of like, okay, get out of my way.
Yeah, I remember that being kind of tough too, because like Leaf needed all the information to like know what side was right per se or whatever. So it was tough to figure that out as well as the relationship and everything. So
in a weird way, all Leaf had to do was be like, how are you doing? Literally, that probably would have all been it. Like, and then Marco would have been like, he would have opened up because we talk about the fact that like Leaf and Marco had this relationship, and Marco sending an olive branch and seeing if the good boys still exist. And when Marco felt like, oh, he doesn't care how I feel, okay, fuck this guy, get out of my way. That was the whole thing. That was the whole thing for Leaf. If Leaf was just like, and how are you doing? If Leaf, literally if any person went to Marco on an emotional level about like therapy or whatever, on the emotional standpoint of like, how are you, you would have immediately been on my side. But like if that's all Leaf, so that's all Leaf had to do, in my opinion, was just like, if you were just like, how are you doing, bud? I would have been like, I don't know, man. Like, and then we would have had another scene where we've hashed out. We cut to Absol doing something, and we come back and we're hashing out, whatever, smoking the elm tree or whatever.
Smoking the elm tree? What?
I don't know, man. Yeah. So that's pretty much it, I guess. We should probably talk about season 2. Season 2, fellas. No.
Logistically, very hard. Yeah. Would I be down if possible? Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I would love to.
Not to say yeah, sure, as classic Donovan, but
I'm telling you, dude. That's how you sum it up.
Fuck, my catchphrase.
That's some of Donovan as well. And I think about it, it's just
it's
yes,
like
sure.
You're yes, and Donovan's yes, sure. Jonathan's I don't know.
Or no.
Or no. It's like I don't think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Logistically, I mean, so I would love to do it. Definitely couldn't do it until like May, if we were to start recording.
Mm-hmm. No, we're not saying that.
We're not saying it's happening. It's probably not. Definitely not. It's probably not. But also it would be like, all right, audio quality now changes completely, and just everything would change.
Well, Jonathan's all set up apparently.
Yeah. Then also would all of us come back and do it? Would some of us not come back and do it? Would we hand it off to younger people and they have to do it?
I do want to touch on this idea of like, we talked about a lot of the issues doing the show was the behind the scenes, but drama behind the scenes, between individuals, between the group, what have you. There was a lot of drama behind the scenes that definitely probably bled through into the show. You can probably tell. I spoke about that earlier. And I feel like that would be a main reason. If the show came back in some form, I feel like not all of us would come back. If the big if is if it came back to begin with. I do want to say, though, we can talk about it as Kane. You and I were going back and forth about possibly doing the season 2. And we had pitches of ideas of people. I wrote out a bunch of stuff. The premise was going to be I was going to be the DM.
Yeah, I would step back and I have a character for it if we ever did it. And I still like anyway. Sorry, continue.
Save that. I'm not sure if I have all the information of what I wrote down in front of me if we want to talk about it. But that's also the big if of like if it happens.
Yeah.
About like I have like a bunch of information. There was going to be a black hole involved.
Oh boy.
Yeah, there was going to be time manipulation involved.
Because that's,
that's
that goes very
easy.
smoothly.
There's just like I was just gonna open it up to we can talk about the fact that like we may or probably will not be doing a season 2 of Pretty Wizard,
Probably not.
which is very disappointing to us because we also talked about we love doing the show.
Yeah,
we love doing the show. How do I phrase it?
We looking back, it was fun to do. It was a marathon.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we had 2 years of content, pretty much. But let's talk about the fact of like what would we have liked in a season 2, maybe. Let's spin this optimistically and say like what are some things that we have liked. As the DM, I'm not to give away everything in case the big if comes up. So stay subscribed, fellas and ladies.
And ladies, hey, ladies.
Oh God.
Silge.
Hey, it's me, Silge. Welcome back. I gave you that rock.
Silge probably would have not been there.
No.
I would have had. So my whole thing would have been. Maybe I can give the basic premise.
Give us a log line.
Do I have a log line written down?
Ryan, I just want you to know, in a weird metaphorical meta way, how depending on how good this is depends on how much kickback and or praise and or crowdfunding happens that could potentially make season. What I'm saying is, depending on how well you deliver this, depends on the likelihood of a season 2 happening or not. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Probably not though.
I can't give you like I don't have a log line written down, but it was basically the premise was that I said it would have been the season 2. It would have been
Same universe.
Same universe.
Oh, interesting.
I would have done same universe. We aren't playing Marco Absol Leaf or Absol obviously because he's dead, but those characters would have existed.
Oh wait, no, it wouldn't have been same universe because the universe ended.
It got rebooted. The whole premise was that this is the same universe, but we just have a rebooted version.
Is this post Dragon or are we still in Dragon?
Still in Dragon.
Cool.
To my interpretation, it was like the entire universe came into the Eternal Dragon. Then the universe exploded, leaving only the Eternal Dragon.
Okay.
So that the universe was just the Eternal Dragon.
Exactly.
I remember at one point I had the idea of a cult that just praised the Eternal Dragon.
Oh, interesting. Weird. One already existed.
I know. No, it would have been remnants of that.
Okay,
there also would have been a cult or a religion based around Absol. Because
well, no, that I feel like it would have been called based around. So I don't want to DM you. It would have been a cult based around that.
I DM'd you enough.
Based around that entity that had no name, but the name is now Absol.
Ooh, that's a great. I believe that would have been a great premise. Yeah, it was.
You guys are killing it.
Because the idea that I had was like, well, these 3 would have now been regarded as like. Pretty much, you could have argued as gods or saviors or whatever, because they helped save the entire universe.
Yeah,
or at least Marco and Leaf.
Yeah,
whether or not we talked about Absol that much, because the entire lineage of his family is all gone. So whether or not you and I, as Marco and Leaf, talked about it to the world, but like, oh, and also this guy was helping us.
The winners write history, man.
Fair enough, and that also could have been a premise.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I'm trying to remember how it was. It was like maybe 20 years after. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Interesting. Leaf's still alive.
Could be.
Marco probably
could
close.
be.
He's a human. He could be. He's a human with god powers.
It would have been 40 years later.
40 years later. Okay.
40 years later. one of your children, Leaf, would have existed and would have been a part of the show, would have been a character. I know.
Was it Seed, right?
Yes, Seed. It was either Seed. No, it wouldn't have been Seed.
It wouldn't have been Seed.
It would have been your second born, the baby that what's her face was holding, Potato was holding, because you voiced Seed. So I was like, I can't touch that.
Wait, I voiced Seed?
Well,
I didn't do it.
yeah, you did. You did voice Seed at the very end.
Did I, the baby?
Yeah, well, not the baby.
No, there was like a toddler.
Oh, hey, Dad.
Yeah.
It's me, Seed. Forgot about that little fucker.
I would have had a child because, well, of course, that would have made sense.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
Marco would have, of course, done that.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Ooh, what a name to live up to.
Wasn't my grandfather's name Seed?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Maybe his name wasn't Seed. You said something else. Maybe
Yeah,
it
I
was
can't
Branch.
remember.
Was his name Branch?
Yeah, Branch sounds
Root.
right.
Yeah, Root. His name was Root. Or something like that. It was something.
I just didn't want to get the lore messed up.
Sorry. Yeah, you're right.
It was Root was the baby, which is good. Which is honestly, now that I think about it, a great name for both Leaf and Potato.
Yep.
But yeah, like
Thank you, Ryan.
like it would have been like essentially like it's our children, and it could have easily been a whole new cast because, it doesn't matter. The whole premise would have been, in my view of it was that like Marco is then sets up a galactic government or whatever because he's all about order and crap. And
The Defense, but better.
pretty much,
Starbusters, but better.
pretty much. It would have been all that.
better?
It would have been all that
Nero.
stuff, but better. And he would do like a Green Lantern type.
It would have been like Nero, but with better communication.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Leaf, in my opinion, would have just
Continued taking
living.
over.
He would continue living in the woods. And
Yeah.
they could visit him, but no one knows where he
Yeah.
is.
Leaf would have retired.
Pretty much, and that's exactly what would have happened. So the premise, I know that the first couple episodes, not to give the whole premise away, the first couple episodes would have been you guys in like Cop Academy, pretty much.
But we're playing the children.
You're not playing the children of people.
they
You would have played your
exist.
own people. They exist in the universe. You all would have been like
In Space Cop Academy?
Space Cop Academy.
Cool.
Tell you what.
Do we still call
that would and you would in the first two episodes would have been freshman, sophomores, junior, and senior year.
Like Monster University?
Sure.
Yeah, not
You're
familiar.
talking about the Disney Pixar movie?
Yeah.
I guess. But I thought that was only in 1 year, not all 4 years.
Was it not?
I haven't seen it.
But yeah, that would have been the premise. And then you guys would have had to train. And the whole thing is that you also would have trained together and all this stuff. And so whole thing.
Damn.
Tell you
So
what.
you would have been Space Cop cadets, whether or not that's what you're called, but you would have done all that stuff.
If the big if happens, and it happens, I feel like that sentence was so redundant. Anyway.
If it happens, it happens.
Yeah, no, if season 2 comes around with that premise, I will give it my absolute blessing, even if I'm not part of the cast, on the one condition.
I kill Leaf in the episode 1.
No.
You gonna make a cameo?
That I make a cameo as Leaf.
Oh yeah, you would have. I would have easily had you.
Oh my god, you've been level 20 druid?
Because there would have been moments where like I may have to use a character Kane has played, and I would have to throw in Kane.
For sure.
Because there's so many characters that exist.
Hello.
And because a lot of the construction of my pitch was like, okay, which characters did Kane voice? All of these characters.
He's like,
All but these 6?
And no, literally, like so we wouldn't have known Root, but we would have had met that baby, and that it could I could
Jaxel.
voice, or Jaxel. Jaxel would have been a character, because I can voice those two. I remember thinking at one point Business Boy was going to be in it.
yeah, but he talked.
Even he talked, but
But he could have grown up.
Yeah, but he could have grown up or whatever. But I remember I remember Business Boy was going to be a thing.
Biz boy.
Yeah, I had all these grand ideas that all fell apart, I guess.
Damn. Hear me out. What if we don't do Pretty Wizard? We just do that as a campaign for D&D. Worst case.
Over Skype.
Yeah, over Skype. Oh, remember the summer?
Well, I mean, it's this, and now it would become we do the same thing of doing it all over Skype, but now we just have to record ourselves individually.
Yeah.
Also, don't know if I'll edit anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm DMing, I cannot edit it anymore.
It's fair enough.
I'll still make the music though.
Yeah, no, see, yeah, that's, oh, fuck.
Shout out to James Robinson for the music.
James
At
Robinson
the
for the-
beginning.
for intro
the
music.
intro music.
Shout out to Ryan for literally everything else.
Yes.
We just sat in a room for 4 hours. He sat in a room every 12 hours for each hour.
Yeah, you guys would spend like 4 hours every other week on it. I would spend maybe like 12 plus a week on it.
Yeah, most underappreciated part.
For sure.
Absolutely. But
Yeah,
hey,
and
welcome to the post world, nerd.
Yeah, and then I had all that free time at the end. I was like, what if I just made my own music and I just made everything longer?
No, it sounded really good. I'm glad we had. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Oh yeah, because I also did like motifs and shit. Like I did like there would be elements that like in a Leaf song that would show up in a Marco song. There's one song that is the exact same. I just made it slower, different key, and changed like one instrument. I can play it. I can have it on my computer.
Are you talking about the ending scene, right? Was that the sacrifice part?
Nah, it was like somewhere in the solo bits.
Oh, was it? Okay, cool.
The solo bits is when I think I started making the music, but
Maybe it was when both of you were on Cheeto.
everything else was like, thank you, Kevin McLeod. But I think that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for listening to Pretty Wizard. Big old if we ever come back. Kane put the date on May.
Fuck.
Might be a little early.
I mean, yeah, because I gotta do all of I got my whole life.
You have to live a life. We have to live
I'd
a
say
lives.
maybe fall, if anything.
I feel like we just record it all, do the whole show, and then release it while we're done recording it all. So like in 3 years, time,
Whoa.
we'll then release episode 1
No, I think we release all at once.
as one large episode.
No. One long 48 hours.
One 52+ hour episode.
Fuck. Damn.
Yeah. It was great. It was great while it lasted. And I'm glad we all did it together. As much as the infighting happened between us and the show, I'm glad we all did it together, and I had a great time with you all.
Yeah. Sad it's over.
Ditto.
No, it's definitely over. It's like over now.
Yeah. It was all pretty great. Kane?
Anyway, tributes, I would like to say goodbye.
Well, he's an evil person. I don't want to talk to him.
Sorry.
Can you do something that's? Can we hold on? We have to come up with an idea for Kane to close out the show, but doing a fun character that we all loved. My pitch is Potato.
Potato's pretty solid.
Donovan, do you have a favorite character or something a favorite voice that you liked Kane doing?
Hey, it's me, Pan.
And by favorite voice, I mean the same.
I know it's a different voice.
I don't know.
Oh, hello.
Potato. Literally every time Kane did the voice, I started cracking up. I'll give it to Potato.
What's do you wanna Largen?
Ooh, large.
Brother Leaf, it is me, Largent.
No, maybe he was larger than maybe crack up every time.
What about Phil or Philip?
For what?
Phil Wap.
Philip. Can we just end? Let's just end the show however you feel like, Kane.
It's a lot of pressure, Ryan.
Maybe it just fades out on us bullshitting right there.
Yeah, no.
Hard cut action. We're really bad at ending shows.
We are terrible at ending shows, yeah.
Yeah.
Guess we can't end the show. No.
Hey, Leaf.
All right, thank you guys. I was Talking Wizard.
Fuck you, kid.
Yeah? Yeah? All right, ending. Yeah?